Senator John Kennedy of the great state of Louisiana now. Chad, thank you for the report. And Senator, what does this weekend really entail? Maybe one or two sticking points that you think you can iron out.
Well, here's where I think we are, Harris. Look, I believe in teamwork. It gives you somebody to blame. But at some point, you've got to make a decision. Now, our quarterbacks are John Thune and Mike Crapo. They're both rock stars. They're trying to make everybody happy. It can't be done. We have cussed and discussed and rediscussed. We need to start voting. Everybody needs to adult real hard. And the jackassery has to stop. I have encouraged John and Mike to tell everyone, look, we're going to start voting tomorrow at noon. If you're not happy, offer an amendment. We'll have a full amendment process. But here's the bottom line. In any legislation of this magnitude, some people are just going to have to settle for a ham and egg sandwich without the ham. That's just the nature of the beast. And I think that if you put everybody to the test and say, look, this is why God made votes, it's time, vote, I think the bill will pass.
All right, so you gave us key information about that vote tomorrow, and then if that doesn't pass in the Senate, then you'll go back and you'll make some amendments. This is something that I've been talking with Republican House members about, particularly Mike Lawler here in New York City, who wants a SALT deduction cap to be raised. And it's become, I understand, a point of contention getting this bill across the finish line and onto the president's desk. I talked with Lawler last week on the Focus. Here's a bit of that.
The $10,000 cap is not something that I can support, and I've been very clear from the moment that I ran for Congress that I would never support a tax bill that doesn't adequately lift the cap on SALT.
Senator, where are you on this one? Because if it goes back to the House, Congressman Lawler told me, I mean, you need 218. He won't be part of that, so they'll fall short in the House.
Well, I love Congressman Lawler. I respect Congressman Lawler, but he and about 4 of his colleagues are demanding that the American people spend over $300 billion, not million, $300 billion to make them happy. And that is unacceptable. If the congressman wants to vote against the bill, have at it, but it's time to vote. I think I wouldn't make any changes to the SALT provisions. I wouldn't. And if you're unhappy with that, vote against it or fill out a hurt feelings report. But it's time to vote.
Those state and local taxes that blue states, there are only 5 of them, 5 members, I should say, who represent in those blue states who are pushing for this. And they want us to spend over $300 billion to make them happy. And they say they'll vote no if we don't. I say, let's don't do it. And if they want to vote for the largest tax increase in American history, they've got to do what they've got to do, but they better be prepared for the consequences. Well, you have a long weekend ahead of you, and the goal for Monday, we will be covering every second of it with that first vote you just told us about, noon tomorrow, noon on Saturday.
No,
Senator,
I'm not saying that we definitely will. I'm saying I've asked John and Mike to set a deadline of noon tomorrow, and I hope they will take my advice.
Got it. Okay. Senator, and thank you for clearing that. Senator, I want to ask you about the U.S. Supreme Court decision. It's big. It just happened moments ago. The court ruled to limit the use of a nationwide injunction that temporarily blocked President Trump's executive order ending birthright citizenship. It sets the stage for more action on all of those nationwide injunctions against the president's agenda so far. So this is bigger implications than just that one topic of birthright citizenship. Your reaction to this?
The Supreme Court has turned the universal injunctions into fish food, as well it should have. There's no basis in statute. There's no basis in Supreme Court precedent. There's no basis in English common law for universal injunctions. Judges who just dislike what Congress and any president has done, just made them up. And good riddance. I'm proud of the Supreme Court. It's a very extensive ruling. You can tell it from Justice Jackson's dissent. She's mad as a bag of cats, and that's probably a good thing for the American people.
Look, we're expecting to hear from the president just moments from now at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, and he's already put on his Truth Social, and we can share that again if my team puts it up, that this is a victory. He says that the United States Supreme Court, even the birthright citizenship hoax, has been indirectly hit hard. It had to do with the babies of slaves, same year, not the scamming of our immigration process. Congratulations to Attorney General Pam Bondi, Solicitor General John Sauer, and the entire DOJ. News conference at the White House, 11:30 a.m. Eastern. What are you expecting, and what would you like to hear from the president?
Well, number one, the Supreme Court did not rule on birthright citizenship. The Supreme Court ruled on universal injunctions. As I said, they turned universal injunctions into fish food. They should have. We have three equal branches of government. One of those is the judicial system. They're equal. They're not superior. They don't get to rewrite congressional actions or presidential actions every other Thursday because they don't agree with them. That's just not the way our founders intended it, and I'm proud of the Supreme Court today.
Look, let me ask you about those judges across the country and how it would seem, and they would have to defend against this because it certainly appears in many instances that this is continuing to be lawfare against the current president, and it's not supposed to be that way. I mean, the scales of justice are not supposed to tip politically one way or the other. Why do you think we're seeing what we're seeing against Trump?
Well, both sides have abused it. And by it, I mean universal injunctions. The Democrats more than the Republicans, but both sides have abused it. And it's illegal. There's no basis for it in law. And I've just been waiting for the Supreme Court to do this. I mean, anybody who knows a law book from an LL Bean catalog knows that federal judges just made up this concept of universal injunctions. There's no basis in statute, no basis in Supreme Court precedent. There's no basis in English common law. They just made it up because they don't agree with what a president or Congress has done. You know, if they disagree, I'm sorry. Fill out a hurt feelings report, buy a comfort rock. But they can't just say, I disagree and I'm putting the entire action by another branch of government on hold because I don't like it. And that's what they've been doing. And they're not the superior branch of government. They're an equal branch of government.
They're also subverting the power and the will of the people, which is a complicated matter with a president who won the popular vote and all of the battleground states just last November. I mean, America made a decision. And I don't believe, and you sit on the Judiciary Committee, I don't believe that anyone has the right to take that apart.
Well, look, Congress makes mistakes. Presidents make mistakes. There's nothing wrong with a federal judge saying, I think you got this one wrong. But the federal judge can do that and render a judgment on the parties in his or her court. That federal judge can't do it for the entire nation.
Right.
And that's what they've been doing. They've been acting like politicians in robes, like many legislators. And the Constitution does not give them that power.
Before I let you go, in terms of the president's agenda, his vision, I know we talked already about the big, beautiful bill, but there are things that he's trying to do right now to answer the call that was put out there by all of the illegal immigration that flowed unvetted, those aliens into this country, all during ex-President Biden's term. He's trying to do things not only to cull that, but also to set into place that you send the worst back first. Will this help that course?
Yes, yes. And look, in 100+ days, President Trump has secured the border. Now we're trying to figure out what criminals, what drug dealers, what human traffickers President Biden and my Democratic friends who believe in open borders let into our country, and we're trying to get them out. Now that takes more money. That's why we're going to pass this reconciliation bill. But I consider it one of the president's biggest accomplishments. The other thing that's coming down the pike, the president has sent us what's called a rescission package, Harris.
Okay.
$9.7 billion of spending porn that Congress has previously passed that he's asking us to throw out. We need to pass that. That includes money for public television. I don't hate public television. I just don't think the American taxpayer ought to subsidize any form of the media, not Fox, not CNN, not the New York Times, and not the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. I don't think that's how taxpayers want their dollars spent, and Congress needs to pass that too. The House already has. Now, the Senate has got to take it up next, and shame on us if we don't pass the president's request.
That's a lot of money, $9.7 billion in, as you called it, spending porn. All those things that you say, yeah, we can cut on that, and that's also in the pipeline here. I appreciate so much your time. We're leading up with this breaking news, Senator, and it is always wonderful to have you in focus and get your perspective.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kayleigh McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.